Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day everyone. I'm Dr. Asma Alia Muhammad Buhari. For today, we'll be talking about a title, a lecture title, Sewerage Works. So we're doing a taking off for a sewerage work. So here are the lecture contents for today. So there will be soil descriptions, trench excavations, pipe works, a manhole, sewerage connection to main, testing, and testing of a sewerage. Alright. Okay, basically this is a sewerage piping. What we are looking at here is within the boundaries. So anything beyond boundaries that will falls under a different category. So the measurement that we'll be looking today is starting from the piping, okay, up to your manhole. Okay, so you have to be very careful in defining the scope of work. Okay, first thing first, we're looking at the soil description, services and information. Okay, as usual, the soil description, you need also to refer to section SMM2 V.1.2, just like what we did for surface water drainage. You need to explain about the nature of ground, the precondition of the ground level. If you have a trial holes or boreholes, you need to describe as well. And then existing services. Sorry about that. Existing services. Okay, and SMM, which clauses that involve in sewerage work, definitely you need to refer to section V, just like a sewerage. Okay, this is how you describe. I'm not going to go into detail in this because we have learned this in your surface water drainage. Okay, the same principle applies. Okay, this is how you enter in your PQ. Okay, so if you have a work beyond the site boundaries, you need to describe that in your description, telling the contractors these are the works that is not within the boundaries, because outside boundaries, of course, there are some arrangement that need to be done, like acquiring local authority approval and so on. So you have to mention that in your description, just like what we have in the slide. Okay, the rest are the same, just that mention the word beyond boundary of site and access restricted by 10 meter wide and so on. Okay. Okay, this is how it looks like in the PQ. Okay, you have item 2, works beyond boundary. Okay, excavating trenches for drain pipes. Okay, of course you need to refer to SMM. Section V. Okay, so students, can you please please stand by with your SMM. Section V, V.2. It's about excavation for trenches. This is different from the trenches for drain excavation, but this is more like for a drain pipes where you excavate something. Okay, you excavate something here. Okay, you excavate a drain. Okay, sorry about that. This is your ground, something like that. So this is your excavation. So you're going to put some pipes here. Okay, so this is what we call as drain pipes. So this is a drain. Okay, and this is a pipes. Okay, and this is to hold your pipes. Okay. Okay, this is example of laying of pipes. Okay, this is how the pipes are being laid in your excavation area. So this is your excavation area, the width and the depth. Okay, and this is the pipe. Right. Okay, excavating trenches for drain pipes, okay, it is in linear meter. Okay, so all will be in meter. Okay, you need to mention the starting level. Okay, the depth range. I'm sorry about that. I'm still adjusting using this writing pad. Okay, average depth within the range of nearest 250. Okay, so the principle here is starting level, and then depth range will be 2 meter every 2 meter, and average depth will be nearest 250 or equal to 0.25 meter. And the size of drain, it depends. If you have a pipe that less than 200 mm, it will be grouped together as not exceeding 200 mm diameter pipes. But if you have more than 200, so it has to be stated as actual. If you have 300, so it should be 300. Okay. Okay, so this is the depth range and average depth. Okay, I will explain this further in the class, but let's look at this. Okay, now we have manhole 1, okay, and we have manhole 2. Okay, and then between this manhole 1 and manhole 2 is the pipe. Okay, the pipe that will be laid on the ground. Okay, so the first excavation at point A is 0.9 meter, and the last one is 2.9 meter, and this is what we call as average 2 meter. Remember, the principle is that where it started, okay, second, depth range of 2 meter and average depth 0.25. Okay, so let's look at this. If you look at this depth range, okay, 0.2. Okay, we have 2 meter here, so the range A to B need to be separated with B to C because you have 2 meter depth range. It has to be separate measured. Okay, so average depth to the nearest 250 must be stated for each depth range. Okay, quantity of drainage AB is taken from the phases of excavation manhole 1. Okay, this is what we call as a phases of excavation. Okay, to BD. Okay, manhole 2 from here. Right. So how do you calculate the depth as calculation is that? Okay, so you know that for this excavation, okay, you have 0.9 here, depth, and 2 meter. Okay, you need to divide by 2, then you get the average of 1.45. Okay, 1.45 you divide with the average depth 0.25, and then you get 5.8, or we take it as 6 numbers here. So 6 numbers, okay, times 0.5. So the average depth will be 1.5 meter. So in other words, there will be 6 layers. Okay, ada 6 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the average of these 6 layers of 0.25, okay, they have 1.5 meter. That is what we call as an average depth excavation. Okay, so this is the example of description. Okay, excavating trench to receive drain pipe not exceeding 200 mm. This is because all the pipe is below 200 mm. But if you have more than 200 mm, so it should be separate. Okay, starting at reduced level, okay, where you start to excavate. Okay, this is the depth, and the average depth is 1.5 mm deep. That includes, okay, this one, all of this word you need to refer to, okay, V.2.5. okay, you just include that in, because it will tells the contractor that if you excavate this, you have to include all of necessary works that listed under this V.2.5. okay, if you have excavation below groundwater level, then you need to you need to allow for extra over for the things that below groundwater only. Okay, but you have to measure everything like a normal description. Just allow another description telling the contractor there is an excavation below groundwater level. Why? Because the price, how they work at that particular area will be different. Of course, that will include machineries, labors, preparations, costs, and so on. Okay, so this is below groundwater level. So this area you mention as extra over. Okay, this is an example. Okay, the same description just like before, but you include the word extra over here, and you need to mention why that extra over is happening. Okay, so you tell the contractor for excavating trench below groundwater level. Okay, so if you have excavation next to roadway, then you need to mention the depth of the trench as well as the distance between the trench to the road section. No? Okay, sample of description, just like the normal one, but include the words next to roadway. Again, because we need to tell the contractor, all of this work will involve additional works in order to make sure the construction is being delivered well on site. Okay, trench next to existing building. Okay, you need to mention that in your description. Don't forget the distance between the excavation and the buildings. Unstable ground. Okay, unlike excavation underwater, for unstable ground, it has to be separated. So if you have between A to D, you have unstable ground there, you have to separate that description and your quantity. Okay, so which means this one will be a normal description, but this one you need to take off and put it under a new heading, which is the unstable ground excavation. This is an example of heading excavating trenches in unstable ground, and the rest are the same. Just tell them that it's unstable ground because, again, the method, the way they deliver the work will be different, or necessary precaution need to be highlighted. Okay, disposal of water as usual, you need to mention that in your description. Allow for keeping excavation free from storm water, and then the unit will be item. Okay, so before we proceed with the next one, I really hope the students, if you have any question, you can ask in the class when we have a face-to-face lecture later on. So see you guys at video for this sewerage part 2.